Well, hello again. Welcome again to another episode of Down to Earth, but Heavenly Minded. And I'm your host, Irv Rish. And today we're going to be continuing on in our scripture reading and also looking at the life of Jacob. We started looking at him a couple episodes ago, and we seen the building of his family, and now we've seen the building of his wealth, his riches, his flocks and herds, and now he wants to go home. He wants to go to the land that God had promised to his father Abraham, who had been his grandfather, and also his father Isaac. And now we're going to be in, let's see here, chapter 31. And Jacob tries to flee from Laban. So let's just read our scripture here. Now Jacob heard that the sons of Laban were saying, Jacob has taken all that was our father's, and from what was our father's he has gained all this wealth. And Jacob saw that Laban did not regard him with favor as before. Then the Lord said to Jacob, Return to the land of your fathers and to your kindred, and I will be with you. So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah into the field with his flocks, and said to them, See that your father does not regard me with favor as he did before, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that I have served your father with all my strength, yet your father has cheated me and changed my wages 10 times. But God did not permit him to harm me. If he said, The spotted shall be your wages, then all the flock bore spotted. And if he said, The stripes shall be your wages, then all the flock bore stripes. Thus God has taken away the livestock from your father and given them to me. In the breeding season of the flocks I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream that the goats that mated with the flock were striped, spotted, or molted. And the angel of God said to me in a dream, Jacob. And I said, Here I am. And he said, Lift up your eyes and see. All the goats that mate with the flock are striped, spotted, or molted. For I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar and made a vow to me. Now arise and go out from the land and return to the land of your kindred. Before I go any further, I just want to say that remember I said that it wasn't anything that uh, was being done to make the livestock change, but it was God, and here we see that exact thing was happening. It's just that it was revealed to Jacob in a dream that God was speaking to Jacob, and he's telling him now to return to his homeland, the land that he had given to his forefathers. So let's just continue on. And Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, Is there any portion or inheritance left to us in our father's house? Are we not regarded by him as foreigners? For he has sold us, and he has indeed devoured our money. All the wealth that God had taken away from our father belongs to us and to our children. Now then, whatever God has said to you, do. So Jacob arose and set his sons and his wives and his camels. He drove away all his livestock, all his property, and he has gained the livestock in his possession that he has acquired in Paranaraim, to go to the land of Canaan to his father Isaac. Laban had gone to shear his sheep, and Rachel stole her father's household gods. This is kind of amazing. Why would she want to steal his gods? Well, she, I believe, still was hanging on to idol worship, and maybe she wasn't a true believer. We don't know. But from all outward appearances, there was something going on here that was not kosher. Well, and Jacob tricked Laban and the Aramean by not telling him that he intended to flee. He fled with all that he had, and rose and crossed the Euphrates, and set his face towards the hill country of Gilgal. When he was told Laban on the third day that Jacob had fled, he took his kinsman with him and pursued him for 7 days, and followed close after him into the hill country of Gilgal. And God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream. Here again, God has appeared now, but only to inform him of something. And he did it in a dream by night. And he said to him, "Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad." And Laban overtook Jacob. And now Jacob had pitched his tent in the hill country, and Laban with his kinsmen pitched tents in the hill country of Gilgal. And Laban said to Jacob, "What have you done, that you have tricked me and driven away my daughters like captives with a sword?" Well, it's about time that Jacob tricked Laban. Laban's been tricking him all these years. "Now why did you flee secretly and trick me, and did not tell me, so that I might have set you away with myrrh and song and uh, trampolines and lyre, uh, tambourines and lyres? And why did you not permit me to kiss my sons and my daughters farewell? Now you have done foolishly. It is in my power to do you harm. But the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad. And now you have gone away because you longed greatly for your father's house. But why did you steal my goods?" Jacob answered and said to Laban, "Because I was afraid, for I thought that you would take your daughters from me by force." You see, Jacob was not still fully trusting God. "Anyone with whom you find your gods shall not live in the presence of our kinsmen. Point out what I have that is yours and take it." Now, Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. So Laban went into Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the tent of the two female servants, but he did not find them. And he went out to Leah's tent and entered Rachel's. Now Rachel had taken the household goods and put them in the camel's saddle and sat on them. And Laban felt around about the tent, but did not find them. And she said to Laban, "Let not your Lord be angry, that I cannot raise before you, for the way of a woman is upon me." No, she lied. So he searched, but did not find the household gods. Then Jacob became angry and berated Laban. Jacob said to Laban, "What is my offense? What is it my sin that you have hotly pursued me? For you have felt through all my goods. What have I found? What have you found of all yours household goods?" Actually, God's, but they were goods too. "Set it here before my kinsmen and your kinsmen, that they may decide between us two. These 20 years I have been with ewes, and your female goats have not miscarried, and I have not eaten the ram of your flocks. What was torn by wild beasts, I did not bring to you. I bore the loss of it myself. From my hands you required it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night." You see that Jacob is really a very honest man in the fact that he was not, he was good to his employer. And we are to be the same way. We are not to uh, misuse our positions or anything like that to swindle money from anybody that we work for. And we are not to steal money or time. There I was by day, the heat consumed me, and the cold by night, and my sheep fleeced from my eyes. 20 years I have been in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters and 6 years for your flock, and you have changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had not been on my side, surely now you would have sent me away empty-handed. God saw my afflictions and my labors of my hands, and rebuked you last night." Then Laban answered and said to Jacob, "The daughters are my daughters, and the children are my children, and the flocks are my flocks, and all that you see is mine. But what can I do this day for these my daughters, or for their children, whom they have bore? Come now, let us make a covenant, you and I, and let it be a witness between you and me." Well, we see that there's another covenant spoken of, but this time it's not between God and man, it's between man and man. And these covenants have been made throughout the centuries, and we still have covenants today. We make agreements. We buy a house, we make an agreement to make a mortgage payment. We buy a car, we make an agreement to make the car payment. These are all covenants that were made in the Old Testament too. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. It's like signing an agreement in our day. And Jacob said to his kinsmen, "Gather stones," and they took stones and made a heap, and they ate there by the heap. Laban called it Jegar, I can't pronounce this word, but Jacob called it Gilad. Laban said, "The heap is a witness between you and me today." Therefore, he named it Gilad. And Mespah, for he said, "The Lord watches between you and me." So these names mean something in the original language. When we are out of our one another's sight, if you oppress my daughters, or if you take wives besides my daughters, although no one is with us, sees, God is witness between you and me. Then Laban said to Jacob, "See these heaps and these pillars, which I have set between you and me. These heaps is a witness and the pillars is a witness that I will not pass over this heap to you, and you will not pass over this heap and this pillar to me to do harm. The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us. So Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac, and Jacob offered a sacrifice in the hill country and called his kindred to eat bread. They ate bread and spent the night in the hill country, and early in the morning Laban arose and kissed his grandchildren and his daughters and blessed them, and Laban departed and returned home. Well, this is quite a story, but it goes right along what was going on. So now here we have Jacob with this large company of people and his family and his livestock, and he's heading home. And we will see more of this as we go into our next chapter. But remember, he still has to face his brother Esau, and we will come to that. So with that said, let's end our broadcast for today, for our session on Down to Earth but Heavenly Minded podcast. Bye for now.